Hello YouTube and welcome back to another sort of AFL review type video. Bit of an interesting timing for me to do this one, but I wanted to turn the camera on because I'm got a few things that I want to talk about here today. We're pretty much doing a bit of a half sort of round review. I was planning on doing a review or a preview for this round earlier this week, but unfortunately I got a little bit ill, which sort of put me back a few days. But anyway, it doesn't matter. We're here now and we're ready to go, and some really big results so far. So we're 6 games down already. I'm recording this on Saturday night and we've got 3 games to go tomorrow. So what I might do is I might preview those 3 games first. So I'm looking at Collingwood and Gold Coast at the G, and I would definitely expect to see Collingwood come out on top in that one after watching them in the flesh earlier this week on Anzac Day. I've got full confidence that they're going to come out on top in that one. Then we've got Western Bulldogs and Essendon, and unfortunately for Essendon, they're just lacking a lot of firepower at the moment. They've just, Dylan Shill's out as well. I think they're just really going to struggle to get the job done against a Western Bulldogs team who will be taking on my Port Adelaide Power next week and are in a real position where they need to start getting, 4 points on the board. The midfield quality is very, very good. The amount of goals that they're able to sort of produce should be very good. The Bulldogs' defence is something that's been questioned for quite a while, and that's what we're seeing at the moment without Alex Keith in the team. So I'd expect the Bulldogs to get the job done. And then one of the games of the round, and it's not the game of the round that I would have picked prior to this weekend, and I'll talk to you about that one in a moment, but Sydney and the Brisbane Lions in Sydney. This is one where I don't really know which way to go. I'm probably leaning towards Sydney being the home side and being able to play the conditions a little bit better than Brisbane, but the Lions are looking quite good at the moment as we speak. Jay Danaher's kicking goals, Zach Bailey's kicking goals, Lachie Neale is in Brownlow worthy form, so it wouldn't surprise me if the Lions do upset the Swans in this one. So let me know in the comments what you think is going to happen across those 3 games, because you should have plenty of time from when this video goes live. But what I want to go through are some of the results from this week. So Richmond, West Coast, what an absolute thrashing this was for the West Coast Eagles by the Richmond Tigers. Absolutely unbelievable. I'm just trying to get the stats up here as well. Tom Lynch kicked 7 goals and 5 points. So although the Richmond won by 109 points, it could have been a lot worse if Tom Lynch had his kicking boots on. Jay Kennedy, 4 goals again. Jack Riewoldt, 4 goals. Shai Bolton with 3. McIntosh, surprisingly, with 3. And young Maurice Rioli with 3 as well for Richmond. I sort of turned this game off at halftime, I'm not going to lie. There wasn't really much to look for. I don't really know how much to go in depth with these West Coast games at the moment because they're just struggling so much. Port obviously beat West Coast last week quite convincingly as well. So I don't know. I think for Richmond, good confidence boost. Kicking 25 goals in a game is no mean feat. But I think we're going to move on. Actually, before we move on, Greg Clark made his debut last night and looked very, very good for West Coast. So he's definitely a mature player to keep your eyes out for, especially if you play fantasy. But the game of the round for me is this one here, Geelong and Fremantle. So Fremantle managed to get up by 3 points, but it wasn't all their own way. Geelong started very, very well, especially in the first quarter and a bit. I didn't get to watch this game today, unfortunately, because I was actually at the next game we're going to talk about. But Fremantle, we're keeping our eye on this game as it went throughout the afternoon, and Fremantle just got better and better and better. So I definitely am going to watch this one back. But then Geelong almost managed to steal it at the death. So really liking what I'm seeing from Fremantle at the moment. Disposals wise, Tom Stewart had 40, which is why I want to watch this game back, because he had 14 marks as well, and he's a freak. He's a very, very good football player, and they're a much better team, Geelong, when he is up and about. Cam Guthrie, 35 touches, 81% time on ground, so I think he's starting to get back to his form from last year, which is good to see for Cam Guthrie. Brayshaw, again, 28 touches, not as impactful as he has been in other games. And from goals, Stengel kicked 3, and then a whole sort of range of people kicking 2 goals and a few singles. So for Geelong, this was my game of the round. And I was leaning towards Fremantle, so massive result for Fremantle, who go 6-1, I think, through 7 rounds, which is massive for them, and it leaves them sitting second on the table behind Melbourne, who won again today by 10 points against Hawthorn. But I think for Geelong as well, so they're sitting in 7th. You know, they're sort of just going to plot along. They're a team that'll probably make finals, but won't do much damage as usual. We'll quickly brush on the Melbourne-Hawthorn game because I've watched most of this. I was very, very impressed with Hawthorn in this game. They massively surprised me with their effort. I had mentioned that I felt Melbourne would kick away in this one, and it looked like they were at one point, but Hawthorn did really, really well to keep this game sort of within 15 points. Melbourne, I don't think, felt overly threatened. There were periods where gone, wouldn't go in the ruck, and then they'd sort of lose a bit of composure or lose a bit of the control of the game, and then Max would find his way back into the middle. But Benny Brown kicking 4, Jacob Kazitsky kicking 4 was quite surprising, and one of them was quite late with the game pretty well dead and buried. But Big Maxi gone, 2 goals for him, 35 hit-outs, 29 disposals and 6 marks. He's just playing at another level. 19 kicks, 10 handballs for a ruckman. Just, he does it all. 406 metres gain. I think that surely was the most. Oh, Stephen May had 687. Jeez, okay, fair enough. But anyway, Maxi, though, is just playing, definition of career best football at the moment. He does everything. He can go forward. His 2 goals were 2, really long efforts as well from outside 50, which was absolutely fantastic to see. And the fact that the ruckman is the 4th highest possession getter in a game behind, I don't know how Dylan Moore managed to get 33. Looked like he played a little bit more midfield time as well today compared to previous games. And Oliver with 33, Track with 31, and Gorney with 29. So very good day at the office for the Demons. They'll always take a win, and they go 7-0. They are looking unstoppable at the moment. They've just got every part of their game firing as we speak, which is fantastic for them. Then we'll focus now on the 2 Adelaide teams. The Crows, we'll get into them first because I was actually at this game, so obviously I'm not a Crows supporter, but when you have the opportunity to go and watch a game live, I think you should take it because you tend to get a better picture of what's happening. And I didn't actually realise. So this is the first time I'm looking at the stats of this game, and I wasn't there. So Canelio only having 20 surprised me a little bit. I didn't think Josh Kelly had 41 touches of the football today. He did have 20 handballs. GWS looked like they were back completely. I was very, very impressed with GWS. They looked very, very good. Toby Green back to his fit firing best. Kicked 4 goals, 1. Looked very dominant, good forward pressure, good opportunities to find himself one-on-one against all different types of defenders, but he just looked very, very solid. Canelio kicked 3 goals. He did look like he was playing a little bit more forward than normal today. Jesse Hogan actually looked quite good presenting up at the football, and Lockie Whitfield, don't know how, he played a lot of high half forward today compared to him playing half back, so he did get involved in the play a little bit, kicked his 3 goals. Looked good for his 19 touches as well, but the Crows, unfortunately, just nowhere to be seen in the first half by the whole team, to be perfectly honest. Just felt like GWS had so many extra numbers running and supporting and carrying the football to the point where, it was just they were up by 10 goals or so in the third quarter, and they were able to sort of take their foot off the gas, and it finished 59 points. So the Crows lose by 10 goals, and in the last quarter, they managed to kick, what did they kick in the last quarter? They kicked 5 goals to 3 in the last quarter, so it could have definitely been a lot worse for the Crows. I think this is just one of those results where for a developing side, you're not going to have perfect performances every week, so don't be too disheartened if you are a Crows supporter, because I think what they're building is quite positive, so just keep your heads up, and they've got a real tough month of footy coming up, which we'll probably preview at some point this week. But The main game that I want to talk about is the Port Adelaide St Kilda game, and a shout out to Dom, who may or may not watch this video, I don't know, but he did say he actually believed that Port would win this game. He put the belief in me. I was umming and ahhing. I thought this game was going to be extremely close, and that it was. Port managed to win by a solitary point. St Kilda kicking 4 goals, 18 to 5-13. Now, I believe after, what was it, half time, they kicked 1 goal 12, the Saints, to Port's 4 goals 9. That's the difference right there in this game. If St Kilda managed to kick straight in some pretty poor conditions, then, you know, this game would have been over at halftime. St Kilda definitely kept Port in this game, but in footy, you need to take your chances, and that's what Port did today. I thought, in pretty average conditions, I thought we played quite well. I didn't feel like we deserved to be down early on. Disposal numbers are quite low, and same with fantasy numbers, so that tells you that it was scrappy. There was lots of stoppages. You'll probably notice that some tackle numbers are probably quite higher than you'll normally see as well. But for Port, Robbie Gray, 2 goals. Again, 2 goals, 2. Could have been a lot better of a day. Motlop missed an absolute sitter. Georgiades missed a sitter that he'd normally kick as well. Obviously, so Jack Higgins kicks 1 goal, 3. Jade Gresham goes 0-3. Max King goes 2-2. You know, all opportunities that you probably think some of these players should be taking. Zach Butters missed a snapshot that he'd normally kick as well. So I wonder how impactful the conditions were for the players. I don't know how I feel about the games being in Cairns, because it was hard to watch. If you watch that Port game start to finish, whack it in the comments, because as a Port, so if I wasn't invested in this game as a supporter, there's no way I would have watched this. Actually, we've got another game to talk about too. I've forgotten about that, because there was another game on tonight too. But for me, I think Zach Butters really worked his way into the game quite well, which is good to see. Managed to finish with 23 disposals. Ryan Burton, again, across half-back, just does what he does. Ollie Wines, good to see him back to some form. 27 touches with a goal, and a really important goal for us as well. Dan Houston looked really good. Connor Rosie through the midfield again. 23 touches. He's in career best form for us. Travis Boak only had the 22 touches, but it felt like he was absolutely everywhere. Had 6 tackles as well. I thought Brad Hill, for his 20 touches, looked really dangerous for St Kilda. And same with, he didn't have lots of the ball, Jack Higgins. He only had 9 touches, but I felt like he was always dangerous. 1 goal, 3 from his 9 touches. If he converts one of those set shots that he missed again tonight, then they walk away with a win. So, look, for Port, nice that we can win 2 games on the bounce. We've got the Bulldogs at home this week, and I'm very, very excited about that opportunity to take on a very good midfield, and I'll be watching their game with a lot of interest tomorrow. So let's move on to our last game of the round. The Blues win by 50 points over the Kangaroos. Now, I haven't seen any of this game whatsoever because I was watching the Port game, but I'm looking at the stats. Harry Mackay kicked 4, Kerno 3, Larky 3, Jack Martin 2, Owies 2, Zerha 2. So your standard guys with goals. Cripper kicks 1 goal, 2, and 35 touches after having a week off. He is playing sensational football at the moment. Doherty goes 100 fantasy points with 33 touches, 20 kicks, 13 handballs. Walsh has 29 touches, 15 and 14, 4 clearances. Looking very good. Adam Chera with 26 as well, but with a bit of a lean towards handballs, 12 to 14. Unfortunately for North Melbourne, their highest possession getter was Bailey Scott with 23, Simpkin with 22, and Horn Francis with 20. That kind of tells you the story, I think, for North Melbourne. I just feel for them at this point. It didn't really look like they were in the game early, and then Carlton got away. Looks like around half time it was tight. There was only 8 points at half time, and then you can 2 goals to 7 in the third quarter, and then 1 goal to 2 in the last. So Carlton just managed to do what they've been doing all season, to be perfectly honest. And, you know, they're sitting there with 7 games played, 5 wins, 2 losses. Carlton have really surprised me this year. and I'm looking forward to see what they can do next week against the Crows. So let me know how you have been finding this round of footy. If you've got any football sort of related questions that you want me to cover during the week, please get them in the comments. I'm very excited to keep bringing you guys this content. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week for our round 8 preview.